Hey, Emeril Lagasse here. Welcome to the Essence of Emeril. You know, there's nothing more like the taste of pasta, especially when it's homemade pasta. It's easy, it's really fun to do. And once you make a basic pasta dough, it's simple. It's really simple to turn it into all kinds of shapes and cuts. Today, I'm going to show you some of those. I'm going to show you how to make the basic pasta dough. We'll take that recipe and also turn it into a spinach pasta dough. And then I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite dishes. I'm going to make a shellfish stuffed spinach cannelloni with a little essence of truffle with the spinach pasta dough. And show you how to quickly sort of make some of these shapes. It's penne, linguine, penne uncut, whole wheat, various types of colors, spinach, carrot, beet pasta, squid ink pasta, bow ties, shells. It's endless. What I'm going to do now is show you how to make the basic pasta dough. I'm going to show you that in a food processor as well. Now, what we're going to do is this. We're going to start with flour. Salt. Three whole eggs. And then for the richness, I've got about 8 egg yolks as well. So the first thing we're going to do now is take our flour and egg mixture, sort of pulsate it a bit. It's just to mix that in. You see how quick that is? And then what we'll do is we'll start adding our olive oil. And a little bit of our water till it comes to a nice ball of dough. Very, very simple. Now, I told you about spinach earlier. Once I get the dough, I shape it and I let it rest a little bit. Sometimes I even cover it in plastic wrap, and you can make it ahead of time, store it in the refrigerator. This is the spinach pasta dough, and that's simply the same way of what we did, except we added blanched, squeezed out for the water, about a cup and a half of spinach, and we pureed that first, and we used some of that as the liquid. Now, once you get the dough, it's really a matter of rolling it, and it's really a matter of what shape you want. I'm going to show you about this. This is a roller head here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this down to 1, which is the largest number. We're going to put it inside of our KitchenAid, as I am doing right here. Screw it in. Then we're going to take our dough and maybe cut it in about 3-4 pieces. Going to work with a little flour like this. Press it out. See what I'm doing? Now we're going to roll it. Very important. Start through the roller. And I generally do it twice on the first notch, on number 1, which is the widest. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on number 2. And it's going to get a little bit wider now, watch, and a little thinner. And then down to number 3, and it'll get a little wider and a little thinner. And then I generally will take it right down to number 5 right from there. And that generally gives me the thickness that I certainly want. Now, I'm going to lightly flour this a bit so that it doesn't stick. I'm going to change the head, unscrewing this here, take the head out. And it's like, well, I think I'm going to make some angel hair, some capellini. So now we'll put the capellini head inside. And now we're ready to make pasta. You need a little parchment. Watch this. I'm going to now go with this hand, and I'm going to sort of fold it. You see what I'm doing here? Because we're going to feed this. Watch. We're going to start feeding this. Start making our spaghetti, our capellini. Then, once you have that pasta, you want to be able to spread it apart, little stack like that. And I'm going to do that now with some spinach dough. Look at all the different shapes that I have. Fettuccine. I have the logs to make this occhiata. See, a little shape there, the little ears. See, all kinds of things that you can do when we come back right here on the Essence of Emeril. Stick around. Hey, Emeril Lagasse, welcome back. Pasta is the star of today's show here on the Essence of Emeril. We're having a ball. I'm having a ball. I hope you're having a ball. That spinach pasta dough now. Have we got a treat for you? How about some homemade cannelloni? Does that sound good? Well, with that, you just need the sheeter. It's just, the sheeter is just the two rollers that thin it from thick to thin. That's what that is. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut the dough in much smaller pieces than when I was doing the capellini earlier. And I'll work with a little bit of this flour here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add, turn the machine on. Now, see, sometimes if the dough is not formed right, you'll get that little gap like that. You see that? That's why you got to be careful to make sure when you're kneading dough. Press it first with your hands, and then you should be able to roll it out. Like I said, I like to go about twice on the first notch, which my first notch is 1. Then I'm going to go up to 3. See how it's getting wider and thinner? Now, bring it to 4. Wider and thinner. Then, once you have that, you can then cut your shape of your cannelloni. See, I'm going to square this off. Don't throw this out. It's good pasta. Make some squares. You see that? You can make them as big as you want. Here's another. Look. See that? Big as you want. So I have some of these right here. You want to flour them. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to blanch these in some salted water till they're al dente, which is going to take, with fresh pasta, it takes no time at all. It's very, very quick. And that's why I also have not only just cold water, but I've got ice water, because we want to be able to shock them very fast. We don't want to overcook this because we want to be able to shape them. So look, I'm talking about in the water they go, maybe a minute. and out they come, right into an ice bath, so that, and be careful putting this thing back in here, nice pasta basket. See, immediately, so they're al dente, and we're shocking them real quick so that we'll be able to work with them, okay? While that's going on, I'm going to start the sauce for our cannelloni dish. I'm going to start making a bechamel by adding some butter. Pan's too hot, just take it off. Butter and flour makes a roux. Then we want to cook that roux a little bit. See, the butter wasn't all quite melted. It will. Come over here for our white pepper. All right, now that the roux, we cook it out. See that? Now, when you're going to make a sauce, one has to be hot, one has to be cold, meaning the liquid. I'm using milk, bechamel sauce, could be a stock. But if the roux is hot like it is right here, then the stock or the milk has to be room temperature or cold. If not, you have lumps. So now what I'm going to do is start adding our milk in here. Now, I'm going to show you another trick. You see how I was using a wooden spoon, which you know I think rules. But when you're making a roux like that, you got to use a whisk. You got to whisk out those lumps. So we're going to bring this up. And remember, you're not going to know how thick it's going to be until it comes up to temperature. Once it comes up to a boil, you know, with any thickening agent, just how hot, how thick it's going to be. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to season this with white pepper because it's a bechamel. Fresh ground white pepper. You could add a little nutmeg if you want. I'm going to add a little salt so that it tastes good, nice and happy. And I'm going to add some truffle oil to this to give it some truffle flavor in our bechamel. When we come back, another notch with homemade pasta. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, welcome back. Emeril Lagasse, our bechamel, flavored with truffle, is ready. No lumps. Reseasoned it with salt and white pepper. Then I started in olive oil sauteing some onion to get a nice caramelized effect. Now, once the onion gets nice and caramelly, about 12 minutes, I'm going to add some garlic. Going to add some salt. And again, some fresh ground pepper. Now, I've got crab meat, beautiful crab meat. I've got some lobster meat, but I actually want to kind of just break up the pieces a little bit of the lobster, okay? Watch out for those shells. So we'll break up little pieces of lobster, the tail, kind of cut those in bite-sized pieces. You don't want to have it too big. So now I'm going to add some herbs to this filling that we're making. Just break up the lobster like that. The shrimp, they should be in bite-sized pieces too. So I just use a little paring knife like this, or you can certainly put them on the cutting board. Now, I got parsley, fresh basil got a little oregano. You could use a little tarragon if you wanted. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some of those herbs. We're going to clean this board up a little. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop up these herbs a little bit. Mostly the basil, the fresh parsley. See, get them all ready, and then when you're ready to just get the maximum flavor out of the herbs is when you just put a rough chop. All right, once we got that, we're going to add that to the shellfish mixture. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come and we're going to add that really quick right to our onion mixture. And we're going to add just a tiny bit of bechamel to this mixture here. Watch what's going to happen. And then what we're going to do is the seafood's cooked, so we're just lightly tossing this to make a great little filling. You see that? Now we're ready. We're going to take one of our blanched cannelloni shells, take a little bit of our filling, taste it, make sure you don't need to re-season it. Then what we're going to do is you take this and you fold it over once, even it up, and then you fold it over again. Look at how beautiful that is for that cannelloni. Let me show you another one, folks. We'll take our delicious filling like this, right inside. Fresh, homemade. Fold it over once, flatten it, fold it over twice. Look at that beautiful little package. All right, I can't help it. I got to do one more. I can't help it. I can't. It's a Sunday thing. It's a beautiful thing to be making. All right, cannelloni with the bechamel. Now, I've got my oven on 350 degrees. No more than 375. Look, when you're ready for this, you can keep that in the ice box. What you want to do is take the bechamel right down the old pike, as they say. Jay, you know what that means, right down the old pike, right? You're a math guy. All right, so we're going to just take a little bit of the bechamel like that, and then sprinkle it, in my opinion, heavily with Parmesan cheese. All right, and when we come back, we're going to take this homemade pasta, and we're going to show you how to eat it. Stay with us on the Essence of Emeril. Welcome back, Emeril Lagasse here, and homemade pasta, occhietta. Those are the shape of the little ears that I was showing you earlier, occhietta. You make little tubes, and then you just sort of cut these like such, you see? And then basically with your thumb, you can just press down. You see that? Then, of course, you can shape them, but that's occhietta. I have some of those right now in some of our water that I'm going to show you a simple little pasta dish with. Let's go check on our seafood, our shellfish cannellini. Oh, man, does this look good. Absolutely looks fabulous. Check that out. So now I'm going to put that on the trivet here. Does that look great or what? You know, what you could do is always add a little truffle oil to that as well. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take our occhietta, and I'm going to show you a very quick pasta dish that if you was to make beautiful pasta like that, do a little rough cut of basil, you see? And I take it with some olive oil, and I kind of like almost fry it for a second, you see? All that flavor's coming out of there. Then we take our homemade orecchietta, drain it really, really good, and then I add that right in the skillet. You see? A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Then what you can do, right when you're going to take it out, do some fine grated Parmesan cheese real quick. You just fry it right inside of your skillet. And then take some Parmesan Reggiano, a little bit nice on top like such. Beautiful. We'll do a little of this around here. Homemade orecchietta with basil. Fresh pasta that we made. And our shellfish cannelloni with bechamel flavored with truffle. See, it doesn't have to be that difficult. It's just a food of love. I'm Emeril Lagasse. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time on The Essence of Emeril. Have a nice day.